Welcome back. My name is Jonah Beecroft. In this section, we'll illustrate the golden rule with two basics. There are only two golden rules in accounting: the golden rules for assets and the golden rules for liability. When the asset is expanded or the accounting equation is expanded, we have assets, expenditure, purchases, drawing, and loss item on the left hand side of the accounting equation, and we have liability, equity, and revenue item on the right hand side of the accounting equation. On the left hand side we have assets, expenses, purchases, drawing, and loss items. That is, A is equals to asset, E is equals to expenditure, P is equals to purchase, D is equals to drawing, and L is equals to loss items. These are the components in the left hand side of the accounting equation. Then on the left hand side we have liability, equity, and revenue item. The two sides, each side have the same golden rule. There's a golden rule for the left hand side of the accounting equation, and there's a golden rule for the right hand side of the accounting equation. Now let us put debit and credit in each of this group. Debit and credit, yes. And the first group, the receiver in the first group is under the debit side, and the giver in the first group is under the credit side. That is to say, it is correct to say debit the receiver and credit the giver in the first box, that is box A. Debit the receiver and credit the giver. This is the first golden rule, and this rule is applied to all the components of accounting equation in the first box, which is assets, expenditure, purchases, drawing, and loss item. Then in the second box received by the credit, that is the receiver in the second box is on the credit side, and the giver in the second box is on the debit side. That is to say, we will be correct to say, in the second box, that is box B, credit the receiver and debit the giver. Credit the receiver and debit the giver. That is true for all the components in the second box. By this, we conclude that asset, expenditure, purchase, drawing, and loss item have the same golden rule, and the golden rule is debit the receiver and credit the giver. Debit the receiver and credit the giver. That is the golden rule for assets, expenditure, purchase, drawing, and loss item. The golden rule in box A, or the golden rule in the left hand side of the accounting equation. In the same way, or the other side of the accounting equation, the golden rule is credit the receiver and debit the giver. For liability, equity, and revenue item, this rule is true for them at all time. Credit the receiver and debit the giver. These are the only two golden rules in accounting. There is no entry, there is no transaction that you are going to do in accounting that is not going to fall into either assets or expenditure or purchases or drawing or loss item or liability or equity and revenue item. So these are the only two golden rules in accounting. The golden rules in box A, which is debit the receiver, credit the giver. And the golden rule in box B, which is credit the receiver, debit the giver. These are the only two golden rules. Catch it. Know it. Commit it to memory. This will give you a good foundation in accounting. Thank you for learning with us. Bye. Share, subscribe, and like it. Thank you.